Guys, deluded you. Now it's Friday, which means it's Q&A. Mr. Sauce on Spill. N'Golo Kante is here. Good morning. It's 5:45. Yeah, man, this is almost like having a second job. I thought, let me do this quickly before I go off on my commute today and do what I have to do. It's Friday. It's one last one. We know we hate going and earning a living, and we really would just like to be watching Arsenal. But because I love you guys, there's always time to make a vid, and I'll always make time for this. Yeah, man, consistency is key. Discipline is key. Competency is key. The very things I demand of the players, I'm showing you in my vids, so I don't talk for no reason. But yeah, Q&A, got the questions. Before I start, unfortunately, I've just actually noticed this as I've just put it up into the screen. It hasn't printed off all of the names for the questions. It's too late. Well, it is early, but it's too late for me to go downstairs and print it off again. We ain't got time for that. So apologies if you've asked a question I can't hail up your name. But I do remember better yet who asked these questions and whatnot, and it actually is on the original document. Apologies, guys. Technology's a twat at times. But yeah, let's get into it, man. I'm waffling. First question, again, apologies for not having your usernames and stuff. If you were the owner of Arsenal, what would be your set objectives for the manager if he is showing inconsistent performances, I suppose he meant, at the beginning of the season? Would you sack him before December? Now, in an ideal world, no, you wouldn't want to sack someone before December. You'd want to see some sort of consistency. Me, I'll give you 10 games. Yes, some managers have done crap in 10 games and gone off to do madness. Some guys have looked good in 10 games and been rubbish. But me, 10 games is enough time to gauge your manager. What is he about? What is he doing? Are the players showing progress into? Because don't get me wrong, it takes more than 10 games to implement a system and how to play successfully. But if in them 10 games you can see some encouraging signs, you can see some sort of improvement or whatnot and some decency, then you keep your job. If it's not going the right way, we make a reaction. Don't get me wrong, I do believe, I don't agree with it, but there are times you might have to move before 10 games, because if it's going on longer and then it's still failing, fans will ask, why are you taking too long to act? And if that team goes on to get relegated, they'll pinpoint that moment of the season where you should have got rid of the manager. If you move, and then on the other hand, you run the risk of being labelled harsh, X, Y, Z. If you move fast and you have a better contingency plan, or you sack someone for deemed no reason and you have something better, then fair enough. You look at Nigel Atkins, I believe, at Southampton. We were all shocked when he lost his job. We're thinking, what is this? There's no loyalty in football. They went and got Pochettino, better improvements. Or you can be like Palace, get rid of people, where they could have given some games. Sacked him, cool. You better be bringing in someone mad. You bring in Roy Hodgson, duddery. To answer your first bit of the question, if I was the owner for the manager, and in an ideal world, if the manager's showing progress season after season and promising time season after season, I'd say I'll give a manager 3 years. That's enough time to get players that you want, to implement a system that you want, to consistently challenge and better the previous season. So if he's doing well, good well, and he's showing promising signs season after season, I personally have no problem giving him 3 years. But immediately, if it was a big boy manager, let's just say, obviously Wenger needs to challenge for a title, but we know as to why that one's a bit gazy. But let's just say, I don't know, Pep Guardiola came into Arsenal and I'm the owner. I want a title challenge. I want the league minimum. I want the league and to do well in the champs, but I want the league. And if bare minimum, I want to see proper sustained title challenge, still being in it in December, still being in it in April. Fine margins should be the only reason we don't win it. There was a couple injuries this game. We had 2 games in 1 week this week. We were let down by the ref or something like that. Fine margins. If we're turning up season after season after season after season, I mean game after game after game and season after season, you'll always keep your job under me, to be honest with you. And for me, if I was an owner, long term, as unrealistic as it is, but you need to chase excellence to do great things. Chase United's league titles, Fergie's league titles. It will never happen. It may never ever happen. I want to say may, because of course I want it to happen. But you chase that. You chase that as a football club. You chase Liverpool's 5 Champions Leagues or Liverpool domestically for us, or Real Madrid's 11 Champions Leagues now, or whatever they've got. You chase these things. It may never happen. But if you don't chase greatness, then what are you doing as a football club, especially a football club that aspires to get to the next level? Yeah, man. Next question. This is in regards to Carlo Ancelotti. Where do you think he'll go to? Arsenal or Barca? Obviously, he's speaking hypothetically. He knows the managers. Both clubs have managers. Barcelona, you'd like to think, the way they're moving at the moment, I know it's early days, but you'd like to think their manager's still going to be in with a job. Could sign a couple better players, but you'd like to think he'll be in with a job. Wenger will have a year left on his contract, but we already know he's got the situation patterned at Arsenal. I would take Carlo Ancelotti. Of course, I'd love to take him, but it's a myth for both clubs, in my opinion. He should just sit down and just cool off for a minute and recharge his batteries. Someone actually said in my comments once, talking about international management for Carlo. That's a shout, but all the major nations have their managers that have been with them through the qualifying process and been selecting a certain sort of players and all of them things. So it'd be a massive risk. If someone steps down, that's a different story, but it'd be a massive risk. So yeah, next question. What do you think of Rafael Guerrero from Dortmund? He's a centre mid now and he's good at both attack and defence. I love the guy, man. He's all action. He's got an engine. He's a typical fullback, man. He's up and down, up and down. He can play centre mid, so he's an intelligent guy. He can improve defensively. At times, he doesn't read things as good as he could. But when he was at Lorient, I wanted him. I mean, we're a club with deep French connections. He was at Lorient. He probably didn't cost that much there. We needed a left back for years. I'm happy with Kozlesniak. But yeah, he should be at this club. Even now, I'll take him because he can play centre mid. He'd probably do better than a couple of our guys. On the flanks, he'd be useful as well. He challenged Kozlesniak for that starting place. Two great left backs, challenging each other. What's going to bring the best out of everybody? And whoever plays better or is performing better in training, the better man starts. So yeah, I would love him, man. We could have really got this guy for peanuts. For your Q&A, if you go to an Arsenal match this season, would you go and speak on Arsenal Fan TV? I wouldn't mind speaking on it. I wouldn't turn down anything. It's a good channel. Shout out to guys like Robbie and that, man. Like, it's a platform and that. But one thing I'm not on, I mean, any of you, whether you support Arsenal or not, have seen how long it is trying to go home after a football match. I'm not on this fanboy standing up thing. I'm not standing up to voice my opinion. I'm not standing up in a line on some nerd stuff to be asking questions and to stand up in a line like it's in school. Like, no, I'm not on that, to be honest with you. I'm on being on it, but I'm not on standing up in a line and stuff like that. When the game's done, there's 100 things going through my head, going through your head, whether we've won, lost or drawn. Yeah, man. And I've got videos to bring out with you guys. So yeah. And have any of you tried to go to the Arsenal train station or Finsbury Park or jump on the 259 towards Edmonton when Arsenal's finished? It's a myth. Every second is vital, so I ain't really got time to be waiting for no one in no light. So yeah, next question. Ryan Ramos, shout to him. Do you think we could sell Ozil to occupy Jack and make him our main priority if he stays fit? Keyword, you just said it, bro. Stay fit, stay fit, stay fit. I know you saw in the Europa League, he was balling out, he was connecting the lines, he was doing everything we've missed, both of Jack Wilshere and what the side is missing in generally speaking. But I know you saw with every tackle from behind, with every clamp he got, with every whatever, you were scared, like the injuries. You don't know, is he going to get up from this? Is he going to have a knock? They're always, he's a footballer, and the way he plays as well, and away from the way he plays, he's a player who provokes people, he drives at people. He's always going to get clamped, so there's always going to be the risk. If he stays fit, I want him behind Ozil. I believe Ozil's the only midfielder that Jack Wilshere, knowing circumstances, can start ahead of if they're both fit and all of them things without talking about resting players and stuff. Because in that 10 role, as good as I love Jack Wilshere and as good as he is, and he's the reason I made this video, go and check my first video as to what I've exactly said, and I've maintained that. Ozil's better than him. But what he can do, he can play the 10 if Ozil's not there. Thingy's there as well. There's two centre mid spots behind him. We need someone that can connect the lines. Ozil, Wilshere and somebody else. Yeah, it will actually look like a decent footballing team on the footballing front. In regards to selling Ozil, we've missed that boat. Yeah, you could sell him in January, but with the World Cup and with all the aces being in his pack, there's no need for him to force a move unless it's where he wants to go or to force him out. So yeah, he can also agree contracts elsewhere. So we kind of outdone ourselves on that one, to be honest with you. So I hope that answers it. Last question, Bashir, do you want Carlo at Arsenal? Well, I answered this already, bro. Of course I'll take Carlo Ancelotti. He's not really hands-on. He's not really good with the youth at the moment, too tough. But what he is, and he doesn't really change too much, and he isn't really that too hands-on, but what he is a serial winner. I know he's only got 4 league titles, and he should have more for the squads he's had. But I would take him. Wenger's not going to leave. But if you turn down Ancelotti, you better be getting Pep Guardiola or something like that, to be honest with you. But guys, Q&A, Deluded, signing out. Thank you for watching. Get in the comments with more questions. Like I said, apologies for not having your usernames at hand.